Alrighty then, gamers, what's up? It's time for that time of the week again. For the next 3 hours, we are gonna be rolling out the next edition of Bounty Hunters. So we're playing this this fun little game, Guilty Gear Strive here, show matches tonight. The format is, as you may know, first to 7 wins. And the fights are crafted with skill-based matchmaking in mind for maximum excitement factor. I'm your usual host, QK, and before we get the show on the road, let's get a small little glimpse what's in store for tonight. It's a little close to 5 p.m. CET, so we'll be swift. So very sort of atypical roster tonight, I would say, for Bounty Hunters. We've got tons of newer generation DLC characters. I think the only sort of odd man out of the bunch is the May there at the end of the roster, but otherwise it's a lot of these, like there's 3 Dizzies, which is probably unheard of outside of the Dizzy introduction event. So Bedman, Unica, Lucy. Good to see a couple of the super new ones. And then, yeah, it's Testament, Slayer, you know what the deal is. So a lot of niche kind of matches tonight. Very interesting roster of characters, matchup-wise, if you ask me. For the most part, I think we're rocking with... No, actually, that's not true. We do have quite a few new faces here. So we got, in the first matchup slot, we got Butty piloting that Lucy. We've got KoreanDeer there on the matchup slot number 4 on the DZ. And then we have one more. Sean is not a new face, right? Yeah, no. Sean has played before. So otherwise, the sort of the turnout of the players is gonna be new familiar faces. But yeah, even though we only have 5 matches tonight, I think the quality is gonna be fairly good here in terms of like what you tend to not see very often in terms of the character matchups, but also the skill level of the players is rather high. We had most of the signups this week from the Vanquisher skill level. Okay, but let's dive in and bring out, not this card, but let's go to the beginning here, call out the fighters in, and see what's what. It's been, like with Lucy especially, Lucy has been very, I guess because we had that like strategical like couple of week hiatus there because of my recovery right after Lucy released. I haven't actually gotten to cast too many Lucy matches, so super interesting, super exciting to get some new hustle on the screen. And get Scarlet, get Butty. Get that out of the way. In terms of how this matchup actually revolves or evolves or turns out, I have actually no idea. So to begin with, like, Dizzy is kind of an odd character out, but Lucy also, despite having a lot of like potential that we thought initially, and still has as a character a really great base to play off of, probably not fulfilling the sort of Guilty Gear Strive power fantasy for all players. Does have some good damage for sure that is present, and a feature that a lot of Guilty Gear Strive characters have. But I think the way that you cash out on Lucy is very tricky in the meta. You usually have to spend 50 meter front loaded into one of Lucy's hacks to guarantee yourself like the actual huge ass damage, which is a problem if the opponent is holding a burst. That kind of means that if you try to cash out maximally big, it's really hard to do so if your opponent understands sort of the dynamics of your character. But we've got the players here heading into the first of the evening. Can I get the... Yeah, exactly that. Can I get my screen to work? Thank you. Video gaming begins. So Lucy, for the first time, I think, since the... Is it the first time since the introduction event? I think so. Going with the Rekkas right off the bat, which is super fast dash type of movement for Lucy, but on block tends to be very unsafe, so... But you know what is safe, though? Charging up that monowire. Can print plus frames if you can hold your opponent down for long enough. The delayed 2S there on the frame trap tends to work as one of the most potent threats to make your opponent not mash into your monowire charges. And the range, of course, that trade is gonna be good. Actually, almost picking it up here, buddy. Not quite, though. Shooting the gun. I guess the bullets do go through the ice pillar as well. Tries to fall from far range, but the 2D from Dizzy. One of her best buttons, in terms of range at least. Starting with the 2S, whiff punished here. Yeah, Lucy is a very standard kind of character. Lots of mobility, lots of good buttons, so if you swing willy-nilly as this character Dizzy, who has very slow buttons, very prone to getting whiff punished. It's time for Scarlet, producing plus frames from the chestnut. Setting up the shop as well. There is no jumping out, and because of that, Butty ended up bouncing out of the corner using the Rekka. Unable to still get the critical gap between the characters. Wings have been applied. Nice dash forward 5k. Gets a small little combo. Scarlet has a lot of resources though. Both the burst and 100. Could just basically shoot it if she wants to. Burst from Butty's side. Has to spend it to take the round. So, not getting that win for free, but luckily for Butty, Scarlet also spent her burst on the same round, so you're not too far off in terms of burst resources. A big combo here. Can we cash out? Yes, indeed. Here it comes. 1/3 of the opponent's life and a hard knockdown. Gets the charge of monowire, so a lot of plus frames here available. I forget exactly how many. I need to polish up on... Oh, I'm going to the animation with 100 meter. Basically enabling the old-fashioned way IK. Boom shakalaka. Doesn't matter how much health you have left there. As long as you're under certain percentile threshold, I believe is how you trigger it. And have 100 meter as you go into the animation of that super. Enable that funny little cinematic there, instantly killing the opponent. Oof, that's really dangerous. Going with an uncharged monowire and with forward moving momentum out of the ice floor. Catching with the 2S once again. Strucky, can we get a whiff punish here? The dash 5k and then goes for the pounce immediately. Getting countered by Scarlet's active button though. Set up the shot, use the fishy there as a threat to make the opponent hold still. Gets out of there with the DP and a little bit of an evil dash there, using the forward moving momentum, canceling the RCN straight into a throw. Nice dash block, tries to punish it again with the... Well, what is that called again? I forgot the names of Lucy's special moves. It's the dash attack, I guess, is ample explanation. That's a big counter hit. How much health does the wall have? Enough to cash out very big time. That's more than half of your life. And now looking for potentially one more hit. Monowire, we are blast at the 5D and Scarlet too far away from the burst. Oh, unless the combo doesn't do enough damage. Still in here. Gets with a nice tap on the clock. Boom. A very niche kind of tool in Lucy's kit, I want to say. It's not the most damaging, and Lucy can't really convert that into anything. Tends to more see usage inside combos, especially the corner combo routes. Ooh, got them with the axe kick and a confirm as well. 50 meter, goes for the hard bait. Scarlet not ready to burst just yet. So gonna take this wall break of the soft kind. Ooh, got them with... What is it? What's it called? The curse. Oh my god. I've forgotten all the terminology for Lucy. It's the... I'm literally gonna pull out the wiki so that I can actually remember what the things are called. Something nerve something state. Maybe active Lucy players can tell me what the debuff is called. Oh, got them with a shot. However, too far away to get anything substantial. Who tried to use the jump D, but Scarlet was ready with the anti-air. It is a cool kind of dive kick sort of tool. But if I recall correctly, the hitbox is not the greatest. Very common kind of trait for dive kicks in Guilty Gear Strive. Stalls your momentum for decently long in the air though, so if you can bait out anti-air from the opponent, starting with a far slash counter hit, with Scarlet in the corner, plus frames as well, and the state has been applied. And I think one of the most common ways to cash out on the debuff that you can put on the opponent is to throw them. That'll allow you to go to basically a full combo, or at least combo of sorts. Quick gotta cancel through the wall. This is looking good. Scarlet might have to think about, or actually no, she is up around, so this is probably a hold kind of a conundrum here. So not gonna use any burst resources. The run back is not impossible though. Oh, the frame trap into Big Mike. Scarlet's still alive, finally finds a DP there, or was that 6P? Those two moves look very similar. And preventing the comeback from happening, but now Scarlet with a lot of those burst resources. Got them with the throw while the debuff was on. Good dash block this time, choosing the gunshot as the preferable course of action. Forward moving momentum from the ice floor, finds a DP. Scarlet can't really get out of this corner for free. Ooh, that was only the first part of the Rekka. So there is a little bit of an RPS there if you use the dash attack, whether you are gonna go into the follow-up immediately, if you leave a gap there. As these kind of things work out in fighting games. Recovering fast enough so that the neutral jump shimmy didn't work out, but still, we've got Scarlet very low HP and Butty blazing forward with the 3 straight wins on the newest character. The hottest new toy hasn't seen enough play, let's be real. DP out of the pressure here to the other side. Yeah, that's another follow-up that you can go for instead of just going for the standard one after the dash attack. Ooh, cut them steal. Was that an airborne hit as well? At least the B&B conversions tend to, I think from my experience, work pretty well for Lucy. Who had the right idea, tried to dash under the jump D from Dizzy. A little bit too close. Get thrown for their troubles. Summon the fishies. And holding this pressure down, DP is safely baited, however, not punished. Has happened a couple of times already where Scarlet is going for like a jump cancel to bait out potential wire Cs or DPs. But if you do get hit in the air, or even if you block in the air, it does ground you into some minus frames. Ooh, nice. Was that a punish this time around? It was a reversal imp, but I'm not sure. I think that was not a true punish. But he has been trying to go for that from various different ranges. And again, yeah, the dash attack. It looks really tricky, especially if you miss the first hit of the dash attack and the opponent is expecting it to land. Good 6P, dropping Scarlet in the corner. 50 meter is available. Mashes into the monowire. Ends up, or rather puts Butty in a really good looking situation. Can we get out? Even the fish ain't doing it, but the wild assault buying a little bit of real estate for Scarlet. But look at this character is so far, so damn fast on her feet. Immediately containing the prey. Back against the corner again. 100 meter, drifting forward. Okay, we find the hit. Not a clean one though. White seal the deal. And now Butty holding on to that 50, forcing the pressure, delaying just the perfect amount, goes for a hard bait. Scarlet doesn't want to burst initially, but eventually she has to. IAD straight into the gunshot. There weren't really good options available anymore. You're running out of the most strategical resource or not necessarily the most strategical, but definitely the one that decides rounds. DP out of the pressure again. And a 2D counter hit. I think there are quite a few fancy routes that you can go from there if you know all of the ins and outs of the character's routing. Right, looking good. No DPs available for this character, Dizzy. So we're just dashing in, jump D, RC into another burst bait. Tap the 5D, we don't have the 50 meters, so that's not gonna lead into much. And now the back throw. This is where the potential comeback could start. Especially when the opponent is against the corner, that the fiery projectile, oh my god, we're cashing out. This might warrant the burst, actually. There we go. Yeah, not only the huge damage, but also puts opponent into positive bonus without breaking the wall. Can we go under? 2S? Yes, indeed. Scarlet recognizes and drifts backwards. Fighting tooth and nail for this round. Tries to go for the deep. Wait, huh? Did the DP just combo just like that? Wait a minute. How does that work out? Was Scarlet airborne or something? That was a really fancy looking pickup there. One wire, once again charged, finds the hit. That's the other very common situation where you want to use the debuff to cash out. If you go for a quotations instant overhead jump D, ascending jump D to catch them with an overhead, you can actually combo out of that without spending your meter if you do have the nerve state on the opponent. Once again with the fast movement speed, dashing into the 2K to the other side. I think it's on block. It is slightly minus for Lucy, but not quite punishable if I recall correctly. Ooh, cut them with the ice pillar. Immediate burst containing. Oh, that's a good trade for Scarlet. However, the reversal DP finally finds the containment zone, which is the corner. Has to break without a hard knockdown though. Couldn't quite get to the 50 meter of 50 tension. Ooh, cut them. There are hits where the debuff doesn't really change your routing that much. I think it's mostly the instant overheads and the throws that are sort of prevalent. Oh, nice footsies. Literal footsies with the 5K. That's actually one of the better buttons for this character. Or rather, one of the safest buttons to play with. Kind of like Giovanna's 5K is sort of a cracked button because of the character's movement speed. Lucy kind of has a little bit of that. Speaking of, 5K, cut the juggle. And now, through the wall we go. Those tension resources looking mighty full in just a couple of seconds here, especially if you manage to lock the opponent down into a pressure string. Subverting the expectations. I think Scarlet might have been thinking that after the Rekka 1, there was going to be Rekka 2 RC, but no, Butty, reasoning the situation, greedily snatches the turn again without spending resources. And because of that, we got the 100 meter and we got the IK. Can we call that an instant kill? My old exert ass definitely wants to call anything resembling an old-fashioned way instant kill an instant kill. I mean, it is kind of like the same sort of functionality and like basic structure for that move. Oh, that's a counter hit, and that should be a kill. The amount of oh, I spoke too soon. But he could have potentially cut into the super right away. This time though, yeah, keeps it short and simple and finds a kill. Opens up the opportunity to just end the set here. Set point Butty Lucy. For the first time in a while, we see actual Lucy gameplay. Too far spaced. Scarlet's throw completely airballed. How do we get out? Help me! Send something. Right, Wild Assault. We're definitely sending something. Oh my god, that was a close slash? Question mark. Into a full combo. Nerve state still applied. Using it to cash out. And is this gonna be it? The whip cancel into tick throw. Butty on their first match on Bounty Hunter, showing up with absolute style. I think the sort of, because Lucy is such a basic kind of a character, it's like very beautiful in a simplistic way how this character plays out. It's not a whole lot of like gimmicks that you can rely on. It's just raw fundamentals, moving around, footsies, and just basic Guilty Gear Strive strike throw in the end, especially if your opponent knows how to play against your character. Those like instant overheads can be utilized, but not necessarily as like true mix-ups. So you're basically playing with a lot of just standard fighting game building blocks on this character, and I think that's one of the most beautiful things about the character as well. And speaking of characters that do kind of the same, we've got two very fighting game fundamentals oriented characters, but I'm especially referring to Unica here. Testament, of course, as well, but slightly different kind of beast, being more projectile oriented. Unica, though, is probably as close to Ryu from the streets that you can get in this game. And this is definitely a matchup where both characters will feel... what do we usually call it? It's kind of like when you're fighting a character that makes you play slightly different than you usually do play most other matchups. Kind of a character, when you meet a character that forces you out of your comfort zone. I think that's a good way to put it. Unica has a full screen immediate laser beam that can cut through Testament's zoning, but at the same time, Testament has pretty good anti-projectile tools. Like, you can use stuff like low arbiter sign, very fast to start up, can check the opponent out of their fireball startups. So these two characters have like decent amount of tools for making the opponent not play the way they usually do. To compensate for Unica, Unica is a little bit slower than many other standard characters. She has a like very weighted jump, so her instant air dashes don't really carry her too far, and her dashes are definitely on the slower side. So you are probably gonna rely on the power of the laser beam in this kind of a matchup, when you get a character that can zone you out so effectively. Or like theoretically can zone you out, but I think Unica is a character that just refuses to be zoned, the kind of same way as Kai refuses to be ever zoned out by any character. Because you can always, at the very least, even if you can't get to your effective like mid-range poking distance where you're landing those far slashes, those 5 heavies, those 2 S's, Kai can always throw a fireball, can play for far distance on the ground, can throw fireballs in the air, so these kind of characters always have options available. But crafting that kind of gameplay requires fundamentals for sure. I think we've got the players, we got everything ready to go. This is like one of the matchups that I've personally played the most as Unica, fun enough. When I was practicing her when she released, lots of Testament players. So this particular matchup holds sentimental value in my heart. Let's not... I guess, can I actually say that when it's been like, what, less than half a year since that? Definitely no nostalgia at this point kicking in. But yeah, two DLC characters, one old one, one extremely new one. Throwing them in the cage to fight out for the supremacy for all kinds of ranges here. As most Testament matchups go, you're probably not gonna be the character that deals the most damage. You gotta be really careful. Speaking of which, starting with the round start 5 heavy, which is one of the more common buttons for Unica. Extremely destructive button at that. Slides in. You can definitely do that from mid-range if you think that... Oh, there we go. There's the laser beam. And playing footsies at mid-range as well. The rewards are definitely in favor of Unica, using 5k as an anti-air against the IAD. Wowee! Into an air juggle route? Okay, okay. That's the kind of routing I've never seen before. That's kind of cool. Jumping over, and that instant air dash comes down like a rock. The same way that like Milia's instant air dash or Gold Lewis's instant air dash kind of take you down extremely fast. And May as well. Can be disadvantaged in certain situations, but advantages positions are available with that as well. Usually from like a mix-up positions. Into the other side, bait the super. However, we have 100 meter in the tank, so cannot be baited. Was that blue slide or a red slide? The weaker slide, of course, is akin to a DP, so whenever that is blocked, cannot be made safe. Can be punished with a forward dash close slash. Detada opens it up 1-0, but we're just getting started here. Yeah, backing up from the active round start 5 heavy range. I would say pretty good proposition against this character, Unica. There we go with the laser beam. Ooh, that's a good trade for Detada. For the opponent gets knocked down and you don't. Guard crush from the laser. One of the more favorite way for Unica players to reset pressure. Oh, I think that's gonna be a catch. If you dash cancel that, oh, okay, backdash BRC there, utilizing the limited amount of input frames that you get from that. Jumping out of the low Arbiter sign as well into a punish. Great reads from Detada. Even if you do have some mobility limitations from your jump in, Fireball is always a fireball. Ooh, cleaving that with an overhead. Getting in with oh, that's gonna be, no, that could have been a punish. Close slash counter hit was basically inbound unless the opponent RCs the air fireball, drifts backwards, and a perfect timing on the 5 heavy once again. Can we get out? Overhead Arbiter sign does not manifest, so doesn't produce a hitbox. Curse is on. Oh, that was a ballsy 2B Detada. Disabling the curse just like that with the light button. A counter projectile once again, the red laser beam, and a jump K. Jump K, another great button for a character who has like great buttons in terms of buttons. Great buttons in terms of hitboxes, but definitely lacking on the startup department. So the jump K is a great tool. Misses with the 5D tap, and then from downtown sending the Kara overhead. I think that was a Kara cancel. Blinked and I missed, didn't see if had the dash spark there, but one of the ways to make some of your block strings like really scary is to combine the Kara dash cancel with things like the overhead, which allows you to overhead your opponent from really far away when we usually think that there's nothing from Unica that can reach you anymore. Early burst here from Detada. Oh, the laser hits relatively high up, actually. So if you're trying to jump over her projectiles, you gotta make sure that the spacing and the distance is all good to go. Ooh, nice teleport! And even despite the RC, Yappie finding a close slash anti-air, popping up with the curse, and now can definitely take the wall break if they want to. That is gonna be the MO here. Oh, nice spacing there into the air fireball, preventing the overhead doing anything. In whose favor this is? Yappie's, right? Okay. Yeah, thought as much. Starting the 5D once again. Sorry, not 5D, 5 heavy. Oh, the DP from minus frames. This is not punishable because that was a blue slide. The properties of all of her special moves change depending on if you are canceling from either your 6 heavy, which is your stand starter, or one of her follow-ups, such as like far slash or to SS. Nice teleport out of the corner. Good RPS win, so now we have all of the real estate in the world. Collects with the bird as well. However, the bounce out of the corner with the slide disables the curse. Very decent RPS win when you can take away the stain state, which is usually like the main primary way of Testament converting into big damage. Oh, sees the opponent dashing in the air during the 6 heavy activation and goes for the DP. Unica's DP is surprisingly good anti-air as well. Guard crush reset, go for another. However, Yappie doesn't take the same mix-up twice in a row, jumps out. But it's not good enough to jump out of the laser reset. You have to jump forward and be ready to punish it. Good shot on the reversal. And now, waking up with this backwards throw. That's punishable, right? Yes, indeed. Yappie recognizes that's very, very minus. We get the kill here. And we do. Yappie on the board as well. Looking like we're gonna have an interesting fast-paced match here. Ooh, this time, yeah, Yappie has been disengaging from the round start a lot of the times. In fact, I think every single round start so far. So this time, Detada was like, okay, I'm gonna dash forward. That's a big starter. Better burst before anything bad happens. Dash cancel the far heavy, I think, the string. Frame trap into 2D and cash out with the RC. Decent amount of damage. Unica is a character that definitely does not lack rewards. Oh, the counter 2K. Immediately into Megadeth Buster, dealing the finishing blow. Could have done with the DP as well, but hey, 4 style points. That was an oh my god, that was a good possession. Sees while in the air that the laser is gonna come out, using teleport right in front of the punishing position in front of Unica. And again, we showing that it's no accident that we did that earlier. Basically sending a message, do not try to laser me just like that. Because there are consequences, especially if the succubus marker is on the board. Hesitating here. And now Yappie could potentially get the kill. The fully charged up fireball, not quite doing the deed. Yappie is on a really great life lead here. Dash cancel into plus frames. Can RC still does so after a delay. Looking for potentially one more hit. The super does reach. I think there was an attempt to try to or no. Actually, that did not have a meter there. The most common way out of your like heavy is the dash cancel, producing a lot of plus frames. But the downside is that you can't really abort the dash cancel as it locks you into animation for a certain amount of frames. And if you get reversal during that window, there's really like nothing you can do on Unica. And again, committing to the frame trap on what is the special move called? Michael Sword variant of some sort. Learn it from my mama. That's counter poke and a dashing under! Both players have done this quite a bit here, catching the opponent, throwing their air plasma. Same deal for both characters. If your air fireball completely whips and the opponent is under you or behind you, you are basically dead, which is the scenario here again. So advancing aggressively on both of these characters can be a very good deed, indeed. Sending the crow again, good 6p. Yappie goes for a very aggressive burst, trying to keep Detada in the corner. Doesn't bite on the frame trap. Ooh, sending the up fireball. Getting a twitch from Detada and then whiff punishing that. Oh! Drifting forward into a big 5 heavy, cashing out, and now how the turns have tabled. Another counter hit on top of that of the close slash variant secures the round for Detada. Absolutely explosive character, this Unica. Trap has been set. Detada this time does jump out of the homing bird. Ooh, I wonder what the frame advantage was there. The deep dive into gotta cancel overhead, do it again. This is -3. This time does not hit the DP. There's the classic Kisk family kind of RPS, and again the possession is immaculate. The backdash caught by the slide again. It's just like Daddy's Stun Dipper. Unica Slide is a very good tool at catching the opponent trying to flail out or trying to move away from you. Like, I think the most catches that Detada has had on the Stun Dipper variant on Yappie so far is when Yappie is trying to backdash and create distance. But oh, it starts up so fast and goes so far. It's very hard to avoid like that. Kind of a tool that forces the opponent into blocking a little bit more than maybe against other characters. But this is another option that you can use that Yappie just did. Jumping over into the Guard Crush Oki, just takes the hit initially, which could in some cases be a little better than taking the Guard Crush, depending on the situation. Ooh, I think too far away, yep. So clean, safe punish for Detada. Goes for the frame. Trap string once again. Yappie possession out of the corner. 6P, put them in there. Okay, comeback opportunity. Got the curse off with the air fireball. Oh, who's faster now? I think Testament was a little bit faster, so Detada forced to sort of do something other than just back yourself into the corner. Yeah, 6P cleaves under the standing pokes. Unica does have really good ones, but of course, same vulnerability. Oh, goes for a DP anti-air. Put them in there. Another one that should be, yep, a lot of minus frames, but maybe not punishable. I forgot what the frame data is exactly for the blue Greed Sever. There we go, this time anti-air with Megadeth Buster. That's a great choice here. The DP would have not killed Yappie. But recognizing if you do take this as a counter hit, it's gonna deal enough to seal the game. Alright, early curse has been disabled. Wow. I gotta say, Detada's ability to sort of check the game state and especially see where the opponent is while holding onto the 6 heavy stance. He's been anti-airing with the DP very consistently. Oh, that's a big one as the opponent is in the corner. Go for a Kara Megadeth. Not quite enough to kill. Yappie has 75. But are you gonna bet the farm to save your life? Answer this time is gonna be no. 2K, no cancel. I think because like 2K 2D from Testament has a gap between there. So gotta be careful against DP characters if they are extremely DP happy and wanna try to DP you there. This is the 5K pickup, it's okay, we're still on the driver's seat. Send the fireball, those fireballs at this range are quite minus. Ooh, great choice of buttons there, 2S. The disjoint ended up outpoking Detada's 5, I think was that? Into full combo. Yeah, from the side swap, finishing it as well as you can. Waiting for the burst never comes. Instead, Yappie waking up with the RC input, probably to aim for the wired C, but we take the PRC as well if the gods of Guilty Gear do grace us with that kind of frame advantage. Ooh, trying to be a little sneaky here, assuming the 6 heavy stance here right off the get-go. Unica is a very unique kind of character in terms of her normals, that her 6 heavy her 6 heavy basically does not exist. It just puts her in the Arbala state. The empowered special state stance kind of a thingamajig. Ooh, into. Nice conversion. We did have the meter for Megadeth Buster, but probably fumbled the input there. Nice air throw. Put them on the ground. This time misses the Kara dash cancel, I think, so the overhead didn't quite carry as far as Detada would have wanted. 6P in the right direction. Tap them with a 5D. Yappie has to protect themselves against someone. Oh my god, 3 in a row. Yappie basically, in a headspace, knew that the overheads were gonna pile up all the way till the end, but it's not enough to know that the overhead is coming. You need to seize the advantage afterwards, which unfortunately, Yappie not able to do this time. Detada up so many games, 6-1. Looking very strong. Can Yappie still get some sort of reversal of momentum still going here? Starting with the air fireball, that's pretty good. Opponent is cursed, but the curse completely dissipated immediately with the laser. Laser beam, yep, that's a good tool. That's a good ass tool for getting rid of the curse. which is really a bummer for a character like Testament, who generally has to work like relatively hard to get the curse on, and then also after that, no, the second hit ends up connecting, so the Mega Net Buster dealing the damage. Switching sides though, and I think that are not in the market for making a really aggressive, risky burst here. Taking the burst resources to the next round. We can definitely afford to do that because we are up so many games still on Team Unica. Oh, the jump key actually reaching backwards! I was about to sing praises of the hitbox. Anti-airing with the anti-airing with the DP once again, but Yappie, I think Yappie has sort of gained a little bit of insight for how Detada wants to anti-air. Stands up for the overhead again, and here comes the reversal super. I got one of these as well. Slow, but definitely works for its function. Stands up for the overhead, yep. Quite minus, teleport this time. Detada on the same layer. In terms of Yomi, parking themselves on that succubus marker and throwing as a reaction. DB round start, yep, he does get a punish. And a curse, with the air fireball once again. Making the curse go away. 2K2D, nope, we're gonna press the we're gonna press the burst button immediately. Double jump into nice trajectory, sends the air fireball and dashes under. This is a close / aerial starter, so probably the best starter that Unica could get. Yappie running out of that live. Is this it? Is this how it's gonna end? Not quite. We don't have the Mega Net Buster loaded. 100 meter in the tank for Yappie. What can we do? Cut them with the low. Not catching with the high. The slowdown frames. Close / starter. This should kill. This should kill if you don't fumble it. Send the girls to do the dirty job. Take it till the end. Yappie's still alive. 2-6. Okay. Okay. Not ready to yield just yet. Got some of that fighting spirit in us still. But there is a lot of RPS to be won before Yappie can realistically threaten with the steal of this whole set in general. Once again, the air fireballs is the tool that ends up finding a small kiss and making the curse go away. Nice cancel. A couple of different ways that you can battle that guard crush laser reset that Unica players love to play. Either what Yappie just did and churn a reversal, or jump out. Generally, I think you can't really force the guard crush on anybody who's holding up back, if I recall correctly. There is always going to be some sort of a gap starting with a 5 heavy counter hit. Decent amount of damage, and most importantly, got Testament in the corner. Using the possession once again to closing on the opponent. And now, curse applies, as well as the heart knockdown. What are we gonna mix up with? We are fighting against a 9-frame DP character though, so gotta be careful that you don't go any unsafe jumps as they were called. That's a fast game from Yappie. There was definitely some sort of switch flip there after the 6-1. Yappie gets 6-2 and immediately goes for a 6-3. All right, I'm starting to be a believer. Just hold steady, just like this. If you don't allow Detada to get in there, close range distance. What did I just do to my OBS here? I did something really strange and it's now occupying my whole screen. How do I get rid of this? I mean, I can still see the game, but I cannot see all of my other screens. Anyway, Detada's pressure here drifts backwards, and the 5 heavy is the usual suspect that starts the fun. Yappie not quite able to dash under this time around, and again, the catch on the backdash, sending that slide. Half screen reach, and mighty fast startup. Ooh, waiting for it once again. A little bit too early, a little bit too far away. Sending the DP, can't combo, but -3. Dash forward, close slash. I love that. We're on a very advanced layer for those -3 situations here. Taking a cross up which never comes, goes into an empty low instead. And Yappie could again be on their last legs. The 5k doesn't find a kill with it, or rather a punish with it. And the jump slash had to queue up the super, or sorry, the burst. That combo ultimately would have killed. Had to make some sort of a hasty decision here. But unfortunately, Detada reads it and takes the set 7-3. But great last minute effort there by Yappie, not giving up when the situation looked really grim. Finding at least a couple of extra wins there. Now, give me a second. I've never seen anything like this. How is my OBS locked onto my screen and being unable to move it? What the hell? What is this function? Like, what the hell did I just do? Does anybody have experience with OBS completely locking onto your screen and being able to, like, be moved at any commands? What is this? It's like in some sort of sticky mode where, like, you cannot do anything with it. I can't even read the chat. Holy shit. Well, I'm gonna put the card in there. This is gonna be HiWill and Jalis next up. I think, yeah, this is probably I have no idea. This has to be troubleshooted. I'm unwilling to believe that they would put this kind of garbage feature on the program. It just kills one of your screens if you accidentally press it. But I guess we'll have to troubleshoot it after the stream. Let's try to get through this event without having my chat and rest of the stuff available. Yeah, sorry about that. I guess I can't use my left screen until we go offline then. That's a very strange function. Okay. It's a very good good player card picture, by the way, for Will. It's a really nice freeze frame that Neat was able to find. Okay. Jalis with the Dizzy. I think has been on a couple of different characters since Dizzy came out, but I think the Dizzy is the character that Jalis has been playing the most.
Knew that they cannot change society.
Which I guess could be said for HiWill as well. Has been on this Bedman for a long while. Even though it hasn't been Will's only character of choice, it definitely has been the most active character of choice as of recent. So two characters that have a very out of the ordinary kind of victory conditions and game plans. Both have the option of starting with projectiles and trying to snowball from those projectiles into close range pressure. I guess Dizzy not as much of a pressure character as also, sorry, I forgot to put the match on. I'm so sorry. I have no idea. I have no control over this glitch, so like all of my shit is just completely out of whack, and I can't read what this chat is saying either. that means also my name interface has stopped working properly. This is a fucking disaster. Let's try to make it through somehow. I need a fourth monitor for emergencies like this. Oh, nice interception out of the sky for Jalis. Put them on ice. And dropping the combo link there in between. So now Will out of the corner. Forcing Jalis to use the burst, but now Will is still rocking with that. So if Jalis manages to get any sort of relevant hit here, always an opportunity to put on that combo breaker. Oh, but instead, miss on the whatchamacallit, the spin. Extremely punishable on block. Rather neutral trade. Will able to get towards the mid screen, so not contained in the corner any longer. Into an empty low, activate the install. And now all of your errors are gonna be super powerful. Jalis does weather the storm though. Fireball against the small mic. 2p, and it's gonna be enough. Not even needing a cancel here. Will taking the first one.
Man. Duel 1. Let's rock.
I somehow put my... What if I put... I just don't have any space here. Yeah, we're just gonna have to be without all of the usual quality of life that I have available in events because of this glitch. Alright, Jalis working the corner. Small bounce there with the ice floor. Will with the 5B abare out of there, but Jalis puts the bed machine right where they belong, trying to wait for the burst. The burst never comes. Will taking it into the next round instead. Very logical sort of course of action if you do notice that your opponent is baiting that burst a little bit too much. Especially if you are on your last pixels. Sometimes there really isn't like a great option to utilize those burst resources. You're just gonna have to try to fight out of there without spending them. Oh, just a singular jumpy tap in order to try to break out. But Jalis is so ruthless, holding down the corner. So much meter available as well. There we go with the frame trap into, I think it was malfunction, into a huge ass combo. Cross up with the jump D. Another one. It's gonna be enough to kill, not quite. Sending the exploding bedhead and then casually baiting the wire C. Makes sense. I think the bomb head is a guard crush even without an install. So kind of makes sense that Jalis was trying to reach for the wire C to try to nullify the value that we would usually get from the guard crush. Sending a couple of chestnuts. Will maneuvering very nicely, and even though Jalis did get the hit here, flipping positions in favor of Will. Sending the explosion. I think there was a deflect shield as well, which does give Jalis a little bit of distance to work with. Into a full cash out. Landing the last hit, goes for a cross up, stealing the corner. And then stealing the advantageous position back. Will basically forced to burst. Activating install. What can we do with this? Jalis with the movements though. The tracking of the last lightning bolt did catch Jalis. Is that gonna be enough? Guard crush into an empty low. I was about to say there was almost no value for Will gained from... Oh my god, if this is a disconnect, what am I gonna do? I can't. I can't maneuver my setup with my OBS just being broken. Shit. Alright, let's see what happens here. We'll flip this in. Winner stays. I think the players did get the word that we Have a spectator overboard. This gives me a little bit of time to Google how to fix OBS being locked to your screen. Hotkey. Lock preview? What is that? No, that's not really what I'm looking for. I think... How can I make Google understand what the problem here actually is? Okay, back to rematch. I think the players did sandbag out of the match, so we're not gonna lose any match footage. Is this an OBS glitch, or is this yeah, we're all good. Okay, from 2-0 position here, Will with the... Was it Will with the lead?
Mankind knew that they can...
Have I been keeping the score properly even? Now I'm questioning like everything that is going around, going on here because of like I can't see any of my peripherals. Ooh, the footsies here. Both players missing their buttons. Neutral trade once again. Jalis is completely loaded. So any hit would potentially lead into a kill. We could do some beaming action here if Jalis manages to catch Will doing something naughty full screen. Spending all of that 100. Frame trap into... Is this a full cash out? Tries to reset it into a throw, but Will is vigilant. Doesn't succumb. But the instant air dash into successful combo. That's a rare thing to see from Dizzy. Has such like shallow hitting jump in buttons that it's actually super difficult to get any sort of like jump in combos going. Unless you do something abnormal, such like an FDC out of your instant air dashes. 6 heavy pulling Will back onto the ground. And then a jump slash, not only getting the hit, but also dissipating the wings here. Plus frames from the error. Nice backdash, preventing the malfunction and the error being utilized afterwards. Full conversion. Are we gonna cash out with the super? Yes, indeed. And that's basically, that's one of those cash outs that we generally tend to talk about when sort of reciting Dizzy's disadvantages features as a character. Has very high damage, has very long combos, has some decent corner carry as well, but those combos tend to build a lot of resources back to the opponent. Doesn't end up mattering that time because Will was basically marked for death anyway. Ooh, with the counter zoning. Sprouting out an ice pillar into a decent little combo here and a positive bonus. Getting Jalis out of the sky with a close slash and then malfunction, error rolling. Boom shakalaka, doesn't even have to do anything because the errors don't get disabled if you block anything. Outmaneuvering the ground fish. But again, the counter zoning, long range ice spike. Providing very, very pesky kind of a tool if Will tries to do anything on the ground. YRC in the air. Oh, what kind of frame advantage is that? I think it's still plus 10, isn't it? Plus 10, but while you are aerial. And And Will secures another round. Alright, good presence of mind there. Recognizes that Jalis did win the sort of the fireball wall there, and the chestnut was coming for you. What can we do with the corner? Set up the low fish into. I think was maybe opting to go for like a slump setup, but the opponent was a little bit too high up on the wall. You go into the plus frames. This is really good situation for Jalis to be in with Dizzy. Oh, just instant air dash over the bomb. And up, oh my goodness, the whip punish on Dizzy's 5k. This is footsies. A very unassuming looking button, but actually one of her better buttons, as the veteran Dizzy players tend to say. Many of her buttons are kind of risky because they have a lot of recovery. Oh, just casually baiting the burst on the way in. On the ice skating ground. Will has been able to break out though. Ooh, to the other side, and the close slash counter hit. That's gonna go in some nifty little combo. Only has a lightning bolt error, which gets disabled here, I think. Jalis finding an anti-air. That shouldn't be a kill yet, right? Or wait, is it? Or is it? No, the chestnut produces a multi-hit. Jalis goes for a too heavy! The same stuff that Jalis was doing last week as well. Pulls out the slightly out of the ordinary anti-air tool. I mean, you kind of have to on this character because your 6P is such a small, tiny little button.
So instead of reflecting on themselves,
So you do have to rely on the power of some of your less prominent anti-air tools. And too heavy definitely packs a punch if you can manage to land a hit with it. I think it has like a teeny tiny bit of low profiling, and it reaches kind of high, so like it definitely can work. Ooh, the chestnut! Tracking in a perfect way. Nice movement by Jalis, once again nullifying the incoming error from Will. Trying to frame trap into the ice spike. Will doesn't bite. Now into the corner. Ooh, gold burst. Nullifying the cross up and getting some really nice value for the burst. For the 100 burst gauge. Ooh, got up with a 2k. Drifting in. That's one of the most common ways, or rather one of the only ways to prevent the opponent from drifting in from the extended round start. You have to be pressing one of your faster buttons. Usually S buttons are not good enough anymore. Captain with the 5D, and since we have the error rolling, can combo that without the use of 50 tension. The nifty little benefits of characters like Batman. Ooh, the stagger pressure. Will gets caught, has 100 in the tank, so could potentially, okay, choosing to not go for the reversal RC route. Instead, spending them in universal tools instead. Ah, the second ice spike. Oh my goodness, that was a telekinetic. Was that 2D or 2S? Jalis must have extended himself into the box. Forced to block the chestnut. Ah! Couldn't quite pass Jalis here, and now Jalis in a perfect position to end it. Cashes out big time from the slump Oki. Will slipping and sliding on the Looney Tunes ice. Did end up spending a white wild, so that 50 burst is gonna be gone, but I think it's okay as long as you got the round there. 6P into spin. We have the error. Error actually not quite close enough. Jalis ends up poking and winning with the projectiles. Chestnut prevents Will from basically doing anything other than blocking in the air. Got them with the Ice Pillar again. And the conversion, instant air dash into, nifty little combo, got them again. Jalis looking good here. Can we get the super? Oh no, Jalis has better plans. Slump it. But then in the follow-up situation, maybe misjudging the amount of health left on the wall, so couldn't get the super out there in time. Ooh, nice turn. Oh, but instead of dashing out of the corner, Jalis opting to Bring up a couple of projectiles on screen. Makes sense because Will is at an extremely low amount of life. The 2P though from Will converting and then utilizing the ice floor. Jalis with a really nice deflect shield. However, the error still forcing blocks. Ah, nice. Sending the spiraling fiery projectile into the sky. Very hard to avoid the tracking at that point anymore. Especially like with Bedman's air mobility. Like you have good air mobility, but it's not like very explosive. So I think at that point, once you've already engaged your air hover or started your air hover, it's probably very hard to move away from the tracking of these sort of projectiles anymore. We got them. Immediate burst from Jalis. Knowing that that is a decently hard-hitting starter, potentially. Now breaking the throw, however, getting caught by the jump slash, I think will not too bummed about switching sides. But there is so many resources. Oh, baits the YRC in the air, and that should be a nail in the coffin. Yes, indeed. Swing those noodly arms. Right. Successful anti-attempt trade there for Jalis. Got the ice floor on and the 5k Abara there in between the string. Delayed cancel, trying to catch Will pressing buttons. Can't quite find a substantial button until that big low frame trap. The ice floor is gonna explode here. Jalis gonna convert. Apply wings, okay. This is building a lot of resources. You can see how much Will has after this, almost full burst and full meter. This is gonna break, right? As well. This is gonna be a lot of damage. I think this should kill. So basically nullifying all of those resources, getting the hit, disallowing Will to go for the burst. Although I think no matter what happened there, Will probably would have held onto that burst anyway. Got the bit of jump slash. And with the big damage combo. Reset into the guard crush out of the bomb head. Had to spend burst to keep Jalis in the corner after the successful Abare. And now we have a massive life lead to work with for Will. Anti-air with, was that far slash? We definitely take those in the industry. Oh, the ice spike is way too active after some of the recent changes on the previous patch. Tries to once again double it up into a throw. Will says no. I'm holding up back. I think wasn't Dizzy one of Will's characters as well? So makes sense that he does have some knowledge of this character crawling under with the fast walk and finding himself in a really nice ground to air situation. Don't waste opportunity like that on a small little 6p. Go for big money and close slash the opponent out of the game. Is what Will ended up making it out to be. Ooh, that's a big frame trap. Jalis without a burst as well. Can juggle that close slash mighty few times. The sequence wasn't quite perfect there. Got the 5D tap, but the bomb head was a little late there to the party. Set them again. Jalis initially dodges, but with only so much life left. The stagger string. Will does jump out of that one. Empowered by the incoming lightning strike. Dashes forward, nullifying Jalis' projectile 6p to the wrong direction. Burst Jalis into the corner, sends the spin. Which is, I think, one of the fastest options that you can do at that distance to prevent the opponent from hitting buttons. Once again, the successful 2p. Converted into spin, Jalis bursts. Ooh, and a good well-timed 6p. Oh, spinning is slow! No momentum whatsoever. It's especially the starting momentum that gets kind of nullified by the ice floor for Dizzy's opponent. She doesn't herself suffer from the same downside. Converting into Imperial Ray. I think it might be enough. once again. Send Undine, send Necro, send the... I guess what in other games would be called the father-son beam, but now it's like the daughter and all of the portions of Holy Spirit, or whatever the heck she's carrying on her back. Okay, Will staying patient here. Doesn't mash immediately into the frame traps of Jalis. Tries to convert into the reset throw once again, but Will has been so consistent jumping out of those. I think not succumbing even once, maybe up to one time this set, but no more. Jalis has a good conversion going on and could convert with the, could cash out with the super as well. Doesn't even need to. Maintains the lead for now. The Warriors have been going back to back basically for the duration of this whole set. So wouldn't be surprised if it sort of maintained like this all the way till the end. Jalis does find the initial hit here, just casually jumps over the Wild Assault. Did he know it was coming? That looked so effortless. Oh, not this time though. Fully charged Wild Assault in 2. Successful conversion. Has some amount of initial proration on that, but still a decent combo. Got them with a mix-up. Now, are we gonna cash out, or are we gonna try to? We're gonna reset again, or was that? I'm not sure if that was a combo drop or if that was if that's a sneaky little reset attempt. But nevertheless, I think because of the nature of this character, DZ, you kind of have to try to incorporate some amount of pressure resets or even like combo resets. Or for the majority part, the combo reset part is what I was talking about. Has to like try to double it up here and there if you can, because like giving so many resources to your opponent that just naturally max cashing out of all of your combos probably ain't the most consistent playstyle. The deflect shield looking like it kind of does something but kind of not. Round has been secured, so Will strikes from the air, frame trap into the spin. We got the error coming, delays it though. Is it still there? Yes, it is. And the last cash out should be able to bring it to the wall. Come on, Cranky, bring it to the fridge. Evening it out, 4-4 once again, as we are slowly and steadily approaching the championship rounds here. 3 is the number that both players need at this point. Counter poke with this is 5k, that's such a good button. That is such a good button. Oh, does everything. Footsies, combo conversions, stagger pressure. Or you could argue that a lot of her other buttons just don't do a lot of safe things, so you're kind of forced to using that button, so it better be a good button as well. From the guard crush, sneakily slithering into the empty low and breaking the glass here. Will is, what was that button? Queuing up a 6p maybe? Jalis was able to counter poke, and now with the wall break, not quite enough. Will 100. Oh, plummeting yourself through the wall. Now big decision here by Jalis. Are we gonna spend burst resources? Does spend it on a deflect shield. That is a very economically sound decision. Because the other option would have been just spend the whole burst bar. Instead, able to survive only by spending 50. High level decisions here. Small cash out. Lots of pushback towards the corner. Jalis, once again, takes his chances with the wings. Yeah, Will sees the impending doom coming in, spending resources of his own to get out of the pressure string. Jump out of the ball. However, lands into danger zone, and Will crosses it up, steals the round. Or maybe it was not a steal, but it was his round all the way through from the beginning. Blocks once again on the fire pillar. Sorry, not the fire pillar, the icy kind. We don't actually have a fire pillar in this game. That's boomer Guilty Gear shit. Approaching with the jump slash, big counter hit. The deflect shield does nothing if the opponent is just dashing forward. Oh, I didn't even realize that the chestnut actually has the initial portion of the chestnut summoning has a projectile nullifying feature here, which Jalis puts on a showcase. Of course, the projectile itself is plus frames in the end. Both players swinging a miss from strategically far distance. RC to save yourself. Gets tagged by the lightning strike. Ah, the error is nullified. And now Jalis with the... Ooh, okay. Wait, I think trading from mighty far distance there, which is why Will 6B didn't end up connecting with the Michael sword. Looking for one more hit, and it's actually Will who gets it with the jump B. I thought for a moment that Jalis was comfortably in the driver's seat there, having the corner and everything. But Will had some really good blocks on all of those mix-ups as well, those attempts to go through the guard. And then, once again, carefully picking the positions where you press some of those fastest buttons, be it like 2P or jump B. Those are some of the more common ways that Will has been able to break out of the pressure strings. Makes sense, those are generally universally the fastest buttons you can bring in. And again, the jump B converts it into a jump slash almost. Sees the approaching air disc, 6B, but Will immediately breaks out of the corner, too heavy to frame trap. A little bit too far to convert comfortably. There we go, able to chain a malfunction. We got the... Oh no! Not only is the air gun, but also Will's burst resources. And now Jalis could potentially... One more hit, that's gonna be the hit. Definitely on the hunt. Doesn't want to let Will run away with the lead. Jalis is one of those unyielding, hungry players, never giving up. Never even showing any signs of mental disruption or mental distress is kind of, I guess, the word I was looking for. Maintaining the same quality of play no matter what kind of situation you are in. Wild Assault does craze Dizzy here, but not producing plus frames, not by a long shot. Activate wings and reset. I guess that was not a reset, that's just a straight up combo there with the, with whatchamacallit, not the tumble, but the stagger? Player C, checked in with the 5K. Will is staying fairly patient and fairly safe. But eventually you will have to commit. And who commits first? Jalis summons a couple of buddies, plus frames from full screen, checks with the ice pillar. Will tries to pounce forward with the wide wild assault. To no avail, unfortunately. Both players arriving at 5 points.
Mankind knew.
2 games to come out of this. Absolute nail biter as victorious. Oh, nice. The 2S catching Jalis before the chestnut actually manifesting properly. Got them with the 2K, but the opponent is airborne, really hard to convert. Late airback dash, waiting for a burst. Will, not ready to burst just yet. Hold on, I still have decent amount of life. But on the other hand, Jalis not only is down on life, is also playing a character that takes mighty big amount of damage. Jalis ends up finally getting the burst bait though. I wonder if there was a combo drop or a reset attempt, but Will, once again, on board for whatever Jalis was planning to do. Getting the throw, this shouldn't be the kill just yet, but we can mix it up for the game. Oh, but the chestnut! The fire projectile manifested in time. Not being able to get enough value for Jalis though, still Will takes the round. Lands a straight jump slash. Not enough even for the vacuuming projectile to be converted that time though. And Jalis putting Will in the corner. What now? Finding it just a mid. To the other side, that was really interesting play with the momentum tools. Still anybody's gain. Jalis is contained in the corner. Whoa, the gold burst! Oh no, wait, Jalis is under! That's terrible news for Will. And terrible news for QK as well. Because that's a hiccup. That's a hiccup kind of an angle. Sending a projectile, immediately calling out the error. The lightning bolts are fairly fast and well tracking projectiles. It's very important against the heavy projectile characters such as Dizzy. Ooh, the big Mike! Trading definitely in Jalis' favor. But Will has broken containment out of the corner. Jalis so close to that burst. I wonder if Will was worried about that, but now all of that worry leads to Jalis just bursting Will into the corner and then out of the corner. Right, we can corner carry this. No! And takes Will's burst. That's gonna be a wrap. Send the beam. Charge it up. Got the daddy, got the mommy. And now we got the dead opponent on the other side of the screen. Jalis goes up. 6-5. With probably the most amount of Imperial Ray finishes that we've had. Sorry, is it a Gamma? Is that Gamma Ray? Imperial? I think Gamma Ray, right? Sorry, I've been calling that Imperial Ray. Ray of some sort. Ray of sunshine to make the opponent absolutely miserable. Sends a couple of ice pillars. However, Will, with precisely thought out movement, dashing forward, or rather walking forward when it's safe and blocking when it's not safe. What a masterful analysis there. Ooh, ready with the 6P, immediate burst by Will. However, doesn't manage to grasp the momentum. Jalis breaks out of the corner, and now it's around the world kind of a deal. Backdash immediately as Jalis once again resets the combo mid-string. Yo, what a shimmy! That was a Michael Jackson kind of a shimmy there. Utilizing, I think, the ice physics, making it look extremely fancy. Shimmying like a jab of sorts, I think. Can we call it a shimmy if it doesn't bait out a throw? Can you shimmy jabs? Oh, that's a jump slash. That's the party starter that all Bedman players love so much. Here comes the bomb as well, which had a considerable frame advantage. Yep, the fighting spirit once again rises from the side of Will. Wants to make it ever more exciting. Engaging with the jump slash, the combo string unfortunately drops, and a great whiff punish from Jalis' part. Small punish, but hey, we take those. Setting 2 fishes this time. The airfish is very interesting. It kind of seals a huge part of Bedman's game plan if you can manage to summon it. Because it kind of immediately prevents all sorts of air mobility from happening on the screen. Here comes Will. With the question, the whatchamacallit, the random amount of overhead hits with the multi-hitting air move. Oh, we got him! We got him! So that means we're gonna go up 6-6. I guess not up, but even. If commentators' math has been applied properly. It does indeed seem so, and we are heading into the last game of this set. Impossible to say who is gonna come out on top. Now that I think about it, I think... Is it too late for storylines? Is it too late? Because I think Will and Jalis have played this player matchup on completely different characters. I think back then, Jalis was playing Nagoriyuki and Will was playing... What was he playing? I'm not sure. But I think, if memory serves correctly, it went down to the wire as well, 6-6, and now history looking to repeat itself to some sort of direction. I can't even remember who won that match, but maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe all that matters is the points that we made along the way, and maybe the friends, or maybe the enemies, depending on how your playstyle resonated with them. Jalis with the wings activated. This might be a wing activation kind of an angle. Does get Jalis has so much meter as well. Boom, shakalaka, look at the damage! Ow! That's a big ass nuke. That's the biggest amount of damage I've ever seen from Wings of Light. And that means Jalis is on the set point first. Ooh, tried to go for a preemptive ice spike to utilize the massive amount of the active frames there. Will not quite ramming himself into it though. And now the mix up. Ooh, this is gonna make the... Yep. It's gonna make the error come out even if you get hit, and it's gonna be a big one, immediately breaking the wall. But I think Jalis maybe not too bummed about that outcome. I mean, you are sitting on a round lead. Choose to use the deflect shield. That is a huge deal. That is a huge cost at this point of the round. Slides in there, but Will says absolutely freaking not. Will with the advantage. Final Luigi has the full burst. Jalis only has half because of the deflect shield that he chose to invest there. But does it end up mattering? Ice floor activated. Resets it into the throw. That's gonna convert nicely. Will says, no, I will not be contained in the corner. Jalis comes back though with a vengeance. Sent a small mic. 6 heavy is plus frames. Activate the wings. Jalis is trying to end in style. If the wall break does happen, the wings are gonna be reset. The wings are still on. But they're not gonna resolve. Jalis forced to resort to other kind of win condition here. Here comes Will though. Still at a life disadvantage, but one big hit could be the equalizer. This is Guilty Gear Strive after all. Can we find the hit? Malfunction. Wall, guard crush. Oh, here we go. Pop them in the air. Jalis is gonna build a lot of resources from this wall break. Almost full burst, both players. All the chips are still on the board, but Will has one of the best tools, which is the positive bonus. Jalis will have to burst. He does not burst. He does burst. Gold one. Will burst from outside of the screen. Projectiles left and right. It's gonna be the chestnut. The projectile that has decent amount of priority once it is flown into the air. What a finish there. It's like if you have the error rolling, it is a really great position for you as Dizzy, but I think Will just didn't have another error and couldn't risk it anymore either. One ice spike and it would have been over, so you can't just spike on the ground for free. What an absolute banger of a set. I can't remember who won previously, and I'm gonna close my eyes. I don't know who won this time. It was, in my heart, both of the players were winners here. 07. Now, we are gonna have another one of these same things with different players this time around. So I think this is Crayon on the Bedman side against KoreanDeer. First time on Bounty Hunters, if memory serves correctly. Am I being the right players here? My setup is a mess. I think we have KoreanDeer already ready to go. Let me do a couple of last second adjustments. Also, how are you doing, chat? I'm so sorry, I can't read anything that is on my chat. I made some sort of grave mistake with my screens, and I'm only locked onto my game screen and basically seeing my OBS, so I can't view the chat during the match. I'm so sorry. if there was anything important said in the chat kind of things. I'll fix it for next stream. But for now, we're just gonna be fuck it, we'll do it live. 2 more games to go. Another one of these thrillers. That's a good idea. I could open up my Twitch chat on my phone. That's actually a great goddamn idea. You're a genius, Jalis. And I do have a couple of extra moments to do that as well. How do I pull out my stream? What is streaming? Streaming is an absolute chaos fest. I haven't quite used the app like this before. You would think there is like an easy way to just bring out your chat, but why is technology beating me 0-7 right now? Oh my god. Anyway, let me flip this to the match screen before I make terrible mistakes. And fix the names too.
Mankind knew that they cannot change society. So instead of
Crayon's name not quite fitting in there, but fuck it, we ball. Well, I mean, I can't figure out how to bring out the chat in the Twitch app. Oh well. We're gonna roll. So, wait, why is Jalis' name in there? Let me fix KoreanDeer in there too. Sorry, this is so scuffed. Let's get the right flag there as well. Alright, that should be better. Alright, so what is going on this first round? Looking like KoreanDeer has the advantage here and able to swat the opponent out of the sky with the fast 6B. That's kind of the gist of Bedman's close range, like air pressure mobility. If Bedman goes airborne, you gotta be super fast in anti-airing the sort of the 8-way dashes if you want to prevent that from going online. Attack them with the fireball. We have the wings. Are we gonna actually activate? No, Crayon is gonna disable them with the burst. Costly resource, but it has to be done. We are almost going down on this first game. Nice moves there. KoreanDeer completely making the bomb head explode and then dashing with the sword. 1 up, and we are disconnecting as well. It's well, it's every single possible thing that could go wrong is definitely going wrong, but hey, that's the bounty hunter's vibe. If there's not at least 10 different scuffed things in a broadcast, then is it even bounty hunters? I do think to myself that the players didn't notice the desperate cry out for help. The desperate cry out for content. Please. We do not want to miss any game. Shh. That is exactly what's gonna happen. So we're gonna pull the players back into the lobby promptly. and then back in there. Like so. As if nothing ever happened. we all good. We all good here. What disconnection? Never happens on Gildigish Strive or Bounty Hunters. Right, so Deer is up 1 point as we're heading into the next Matcherino here.
Mankind knew that they cannot change society. Duel 1. Let's rock.
Starting with the jump, comes down with a big counter hit. That's probably the most damage you ever see Dizzy doing from a jumping attack. This once, never before and never again. I bet you that Dizzy is at some point gonna get the same treatment that Sin got recently, and they're probably gonna at least give her one viable, good, deep hitting not anti-air, but a jump in. With the back throw, Deer applying the wings from 6 heavy, fully charged, plus frames. Trade, so wings are gonna be gone, but Deer still has the better position. Recognizes the OTGG. It's so hard to deal with that button. The multi-hitting overhead and then the nondescript timing for the low to come out. Really difficult to adjust your block properly unless you're familiar with Bedman's game, so to speak. Oh, both players missing the throw there. I guess unexpected landing zone there, far away from the opponent. Applying both the fishes, then checking with the ice spike. There's just so much garbage coming in Crayon's way. Got them with a 2K 2D, not quite the kill here. Tank is full of good juice. Goes for the safer play, tries to go for an air throw. Oh, just bare miss there. Oh my goodness. That's actually, I think Deer wasn't going for any sort of like 6P or anything there either. That was just the perfect distance to stand at while the Bedman jump slash was whipping there in the air. Ooh, with the jump. The very late 6P this time ends up still ringing as a counter hit, and now Deer going to work with those big combos. Wing still intact, but does reset its duration. It's actually going to be completely nullified here by Crayon's hit. Crush the guard. Whoa, that was a grimy looking mix-up. Was that heist? In what order? It was kind of like high into fake landing, but then going for another overhead still. Oh, this time the jump slash finds its mark. That's more along the lines of what we know from Bedman jump slash. And tried to also go for like, was that an F Shiki jump K there at the end as well from Crayon? Kind of looked like it. I didn't even know that Bedman can do that. Probably have to like route your arrow to be perfectly in tandem if you want to hit confirm one of those. Ice holds the hover for just a little while, just a strategical amount so that Deer would miss their 6P on the ground. Just sending the big mic. Don't you freak with me with that footsies kind of deal. I'm just gonna clear the whole screen. Small Mike misses. And here comes Crayon. Down in life, but also down in position. Immediately after they were forced to disengage from the pressure situation. And good blocks. One of the nastiest things that you can take against Dizzy or get hit by against Dizzy is pretty much the most common tool that she is gonna use at neutral, which is that ice spike. You want to try to avoid getting frozen as much as possible. Leads into big combos and other similar advantages that you can create, such as the ice floor. Speaking of the ice floor, it actually ended up, I think, dissipating before Korean's hit landed there. And with the combo, we got the wings already resolving. I think ended up dealing a little bit of damage. I'm actually not sure if the throw itself would have killed Crayon, but with the wings resolving just before the hit registers, that was basically a nail in the coffin. I guess that's probably design-wise, like character mechanic design-wise, why this throw is so damn slow, so that you can delay time for the wings to potentially deal the finishing blow, if you manage to set it up. Huh. The devs thought of a lot of cool things, huh? Yeah, recognizes that that's not a great position to be throwing that fireball. Suspend the meter, save yourself, and then trading into Michael's sword. Successfully in Deer's favor, mind you. Well, it was a nice whip punish attempt there, but I think Crayon was a couple of frames late there to the job. The arrow is gonna break the wall. Decent advantage here for Crayon. But how long is that gonna last? Big damage coming in, or decently large damage. Can cash out with the wall break. Goes for a soft one. And that means that we're gonna have so many resources to work with, actually for both players. Both players 100 in the tank, but is Deer gonna burst here? It would be a risky play. And the answer is gonna be no. We are not gonna play a hero this time around. Take it to the next round. Now we have a decent advantage. Yep, immediately available here on the loss on the round start RPS. Nullifying the incoming spike there with the chestnut. I think both of the DC players have had really good control and usage of that particular tool, the chestnut. I think DC is the kind of like a character that like requires you to have advanced level understanding of your tools and getting like maximal value out of your special moves, because like her fundamentals, her normals aren't great. She has way more power level in her special moves, so being able to use those. Oh, well, that thought we get a big counter hit. This could be the last one as well. Not quite. The wall break, setting up the ice floor. Plus frames from the chestnut. More plus frames, however, not enough apparently. I think Deer tried to dash in deep, allowing Crayon to get the last say in there. Get a little bit of an 5-frame barre action, as we say in the industry. Frame trap into 2D, big hit. Worth a burst for sure. As is that jump slash counter hit by Bedman. So both players nullifying some decently large hits here. But here comes Crayon from the skies with the jump slash again. Good block from KoreanDeer. Gets a mash out with the, I think that was a Michael sword I saw there. Very good reach, for sure. But now Crayon has so many resources, you bet your ass you're gonna take some mix-ups. And if not mix-ups, at least some pressure until Deer just found a really nice, valuable 6P. That was big actually. Because that pressure string wouldn't have ended in like anytime soon unless you can absolutely break it right then and there. We have the error inbound, we have the 50-meter inbound, and now we have inbound is no errors currently, is it? But we do have the install super activated. Deer is once again gonna play it safe and take the burst to the last round. And what a round it is. This could mean so much for either player. Is Deer gonna run away with massive lead, or is Crayon gonna stabilize? Yeah, it's so difficult. So difficult to anti-air Bedman out of the air movement. You would think that applying the hover and going for the downwards dive into a button is gonna take like a long time, but it really does not. It's such a fast sequence to pull off. Ooh, both players drifting at each other. It's gonna be Deer. who unleashes the throw first. I wonder what the option that Crayon played there was. It could have been a 5-framer.
Mankind knew. Duel 1. Let's rock.
But the throw is gonna be always the faster option. Ooh, good 6-speed there on the ground. It's gonna put Crayon in the corner and in the danger zone. Ah, but Crayon 6-speed swings a 6-speed again, but this time nullified by the myriad of projectiles that Korean is sending at Crayon at the moment. There's gonna be way more of those in the future. Ooh, nice interruption, air to air. That was big again, preventing the error being utilized there for pressure resets. And that's gonna be a wrap. Sent the skewer. In previous versions, used to... What does she do with the fish? Used to catch fish or roast fish? DC has some very interesting special move names. Especially since there's like a dichotomy between the Western and the Japanese community. Like the Western community calling the projectiles that look like fishes, but then the Japanese community calling the ice spikes fishes because I mean that special move has a fish in the Japanese name, so it's that is what the fish is. Anyway, from that random thought into a hard knockdown wall break here for Korean. Korean does have options here. Maybe I should say Deer instead, because Korean and Crayon sound very, very, very similar. From the wire C. Ooh, plowing through with the fully charged Wild Assault. That's gonna give you a combo and a half. And hopefully more, because Crayon definitely absolutely needs this game immediately right here. Or the gap is gonna widen so much that... Look at that, oh, look at that movement. Is that equivalent of, like, it's kind of like wave dashing, but not quite. Wave dashing, but not quite as safe, probably. Oh, nice snipe there on the landing. Deer able to get a button on the forced landing recovery that happens in Guilty Gear Strive intrinsically for all characters that use any of their air tools. And Bedman is no exemption from that. Damn, again, the chestnuts nullifying so many incoming projectiles. There's definitely more variety in terms of what DC can send at you compared to what, you know, Bedman's repertoire consists of. Alright, the trade is in Deer's favor, but does dissipate the wings. So that threat is off the board, or off the table at the moment. Ooh, got them with the too heavy, however, immediate cancel into something else. Couldn't quite combo. And now, tap the 5D, go back to the classics, the fundamentals of the game. I think we can kill here, and the Big Mike is gonna deliver enough punishment to put Korean Deer in a position where we could slowly start talking about a very one-sided advantage. Let's see what Crayon has to say about that. Ah, the 6 heavy, sorry, the 2 heavy uncancelled, gets punished, but accidents happen both ways. 100 meter in the tank. Wait, where's, oh, the meaty ends up whiffing completely. It's okay. It's okay, we're intercepting from the ground still. Which with the far slash, no, with punish. Here with minimal amount of life left to spend here. Yeah, and it's gonna be the install mode, guaranteeing you a lot of chip damage if the opponent doesn't FD. Alright, that projectile is definitely as good as nullified. Using the Wild Assault as sort of a makeshift command dash. Definitely works out for Crayon. Activate the mode. I think we have a... We did have an error, but not anymore. Send a couple of those lightning bolts. Oh, but the chestnut was already in the air. That chestnut does not disappear, I think, even if you poke the main body with anything. Block here, but you're gonna have to block so much more. More mix-ups inbound, looking like Korean is gonna survive the fight for the supremacy of this set yet.
Duel 1.
But there is a lot of work to be done if we want to equalize the situation. Deer is the one spending their burst resources first. I love that. The side switch as well for the close slash juggle. Activating. I think this should be a plus with the S-type movement, or sorry, the S-type buttons. Has been able to fight out of the corner once again, nullifying those incoming projectiles with the fire projectile. Such good control over that. I could say maybe even some of the, if not the best tool. Definitely a signature tool in this matchup, at least so far. That KoreanDeer has been able to nullify those incoming spikes, as well as the lightning strikes, with the startup frames of that the chestnut. Not this time though. Allowing Korean to get a nice sniping distance. Jump slash finds its mark. These lightnings do strike twice, even though this is strictly speaking not the lightning. Delays the follow-up. So now completely out of the question here. Good timing on the 6B. Ooh, big counter hit. Pushing towards the corner. Blast frames. The 2D catches the backdash. Hard to convert. It's the Michael sword. Activating wings. And here comes the reversal super. Just in the nick of time for Korean. That could have potentially been a lot of destructive damage coming in. For Deer did have, I think, gasoline in the tank to make those wings burn fairly bright. It is, of course, the interesting mechanic of the Wings of Light that when they resolve, they require an investment of tension that is slowly gonna slowly gonna be drawn out from your tension gauge and dealing damage based on, steadily based on how, you know, as long as there is fuel, there is gonna be damage. Speaking of those wings, oh, boom shakalaka, big conversion. That damage is absolutely nuclear as well, meaning it goes through defense as far as I know. It's like block, doesn't matter. Guts, defense modifier, it doesn't matter. You're still gonna take the pure damage coming in. Oh, nice. And so ended up whipping a grounded poke, but still transitioning into the fast 5B anti-air. Nullifying the incoming spike once again. Oh, it ends up being Korean who finds the hit. Can you block? Oh, that was a funny little incident. I think Korean was probably trying to convert into, or rather double up into a throw, but realized that the jump heavy, is it jump heavy or jump slash? Did manage to find a hit. However, not good enough. Deer steals the round, steals the game, and now knocking on the heaven's door. It's gonna be quite a few knocks potentially before Korean might procure an option to flip it around. Another error here. Can we go into another? Yes, indeed. Finds hit. Here comes the explosion. But Deer once again able to interrupt with a 6P. Oh, looking like for a moment that Deer was able to maneuver out of the corner, but Korean was in a perfect position to strike from a cross-up position as well. I think stole the corner, maybe accidentally, but hey, in this industry, we take those happy little accidents as often as we can. Set up fishes. Oh my goodness, that was a vicious far slash, taking out both of those at the same time. But Deer not ready to give away this position. Michael sword at the end of the string, once again to frame trap. Doesn't find its mark, but the chestnut does. Very faced out. Oh, the interruption there. 2K2D. Okay, Chestnut is coming, but we have activation on the ultimate. Sorry, not the ultimate, the install for Crayon. Is that gonna play any part here, though? Already gone. One tap away. Went for the throw. RC. The option select recognizes the opponent is coming down from an impending trajectory that cannot be changed. Anti-air. Ooh, that's a big one. Frame trap into basically full conversion. Maybe that's the maybe that was actually better that the ice floor ended up expiring before it sort of pops. Because that way you don't build that many resources back for your opponent. Because it prorates your combos quite a bit, right? And depending on your proration, that determines how many, like how much tension and burst is going to be built back for the opponent. Alright, is Crayon alive? Or are they dead is the big question here. Malfunction, Slippity slaps Deer into the next game. We are indeed alive. The Schrodinger's bedman, as you look into the box after the round, is alive for now. But that state of affairs could change very fast here if Korean has even one good game. Even just a good round is gonna be such a huge amount of pressure on Crayon. Nice maneuvering from Crayon as well. I gotta say, both these players have been really good at maneuvering around the neutral. Neither of these characters is easy to deal with when it comes to their projectile game. And neither of these characters have like good options for just going in either. They have to abide by their character's archetype. The easiest way to get things started is to start with projectiles and then transition into the advantages that those projectiles provide. But that inadvertently means that you have to deal with the opponent's projectiles as well, as much as rely on your own. Alright, canceling the 2 heavy here. That should be plus frames. Yeah, man, you cannot press there, huh? That's a really cool way of taking advantage of the, or like putting like a bandage aid on the problem that is too heavy for a bedman. It is a great button and it helps you convert, and it's like integral part of your block strings as well, but it is not very safe normal by any means. So if you cancel it into your install instead, I think you can create an advantageous situation. If you're rich enough to pay for the fun times. Alright, wings are active. However, as soon as they manifest, they are cut away by Crayon. Wow, the momentum is really shifting. Is it me? Or is that a momentum shift that I'm smelling here? Yes, that's a fresh scent of a snowball, if I've ever smelled one. Look at that, so much damage on Deer. And this might prompt. Ooh, goes for a burst bait. Here it is. Pretty much the last moment that Deer had to burst there as well, or had the opportunity to burst left. The jump D ends up whiffing. Can you block? No, sir. Of course you cannot. This is such a tricky to block mix-up situation. The multi-hit jump in into either the delayed jump D or the low. Well. You and me, chat room, did you think it was gonna be a 6-6 at one point of the match when Deer was basically running away rampant with the lead? Unless you're the most die-hard Crayon fan, don't tell me that you saw this coming. Oh, it's all the projectiles, the jump D, as well as the fish. Setting the high one. There is no jumping out of this one. Fish still there. Oh, but it ends up dissipating just in the nick of time. Crayon was about to back walk, or rather back fly into it, I guess. Oh, okay. Out of there with the wild assault. And now, canceling into the delayed special moves to reap the advantages on block. Too heavy into malfunction is interruptible. Yes? If the opponent is brave enough to mash? Question mark. Alright, set point deer. Ooh, goes under. Can't get the punish though. The close slash catching the backdash from Crayon. And now the wings. The wings are a potential win condition. Nullified by the 2P mash. A lot of corner carry here, especially with the OTG spin. Goes with the throw a little too early. Tries to convert into an air throw. Crayon looking good. Not ready to give up, but look at this amount of resources for Deer. Could do a lot of nasty stuff here. 6 heavy, nullified by the deflect shield. Can't have those plus frames. Oh, perfect landing here. Is Deer gonna burst? No, gonna hold it. Gonna hold it till the next round. I mean, might as well go for the burst bait in case Deer wanted to just throw away the round, or sorry, the complete set right there. But no, he's smart. And we are now on the absolute last one of the set. 5K anti-air out of the sky. I think Crayon should be building the burst before the fat lady sings. But for whom is it gonna sing? Wild assault, completely airballing. Deer coming down from a perfect angle. That should be a kill. Queue up the... Which one of the rays? One of the rays? Imperial Ray? I think Imperial Ray. And that's all she wrote. Great attempt to run it back from Crayon. It was looking mighty desperate at one point, but still able to make it as close, as even as humanly possible. Wowee. That's the best sequence of Dizzy versus Bedmans that we've seen in a while. As if we've seen this matchup before. Have we? Maybe? Maybe. I'm not the best person to turn to when it comes to recalling historic match results. All right, now, since this is a rather short event, we're gonna head into the last one of the evening. It's gonna be between Civ's Slayer as well as Sean going in with that May. A dual, I think dual main, Bridget May Gaming, as yes, as appears in the player card text, choosing to go with May in this particular matchup. I think both character choices may be valid, but resulting in a completely different kind of gameplay loop. And I think because this is Guilty Gear Strive, I think it stands to reason, like if you want to approach problems from a meta angle, then bringing up against like the king of scrambles, Slayer himself, maybe you want to bring a character that can flail and scramble with really good rewards as well. I mean, it's one option you could use to approach this matchup, or just approach Guilty Gear Strive as a fighting game in general, as a sort of a whatchamacallit philosophy. Alrighty then, let's call players into the lobby. Lots of damage available in this matchup for sure. Either side can dish it, but will also be taking it. decent execution requirements in the ability to dish that damage for both of these characters. So from the Slayer side, you have a lot of different kinds of variables depending on, you know, what kind of starter, what kind of situation you land those hits, if you want to convert into those like optimal back hit pile bunker loops. And as time has passed by, I think Mei has sort of developed into ever so harder and harder to control as a character. Like, especially since the patches where, whatchamacallit, the split was added to her repertoire, the special move that allows you to command hop out of her dolphins. Like, her optimal combos have become like way harder to pilot than in the past. Like, whatever opinion you hold about this character, it's like she's not really the character that she was at the start of Guilty Gear Strive's lifespan at all. This character has gone through a lot of changes since then. Although I suppose like she still has the kind of reputation in the hearts and minds of a lot of people. Oh, is it not gonna be the Mei? Is it gonna be Bridget after all? Or is it just forget to swap characters? I mean, I guess we're gonna find out. I guess we're going to find out. Fix the names as well, by the way. Alright, all fixed. I guess we're gonna roll with that Bridget, huh? Into, I think that looked like a Kara command crab. Not the easiest thing to input either. Civ has been on that deep grind. Ooh, that was a grimy left right. I think even though one could argue that when they changed the rolling movement for Bridget, some of her like mix-up potential. Oh, okay, stealing the corner here and then twirling out of there. This is, I think, master control of Bridget's universal move, or sorry, her unique movement tools. Good timing on the burst. Especially potent against Slayer, who switches sides a lot in his combos. Good 6B. 6B is quite powerful against this character, Bridget, because many of her tools reach very far away, but they're also very high profile, so very prone to getting, you know, low profile under? I guess that's a word we can use. Oh, you thought it was gonna cross, but Sean sneaking back into the corner. The downside of that is if the opponent can break out of that, such as if they can burst like Civ did, you will still be contained in the corner. But I guess it's only fair because there's decent bit of that in Slayer's kit as well. Like we talked about earlier. Oh, stealing the corner there. The cross-ups are absolutely nutty. This is already a handful of kind of Bridget tools that I've never seen before.
Duel 3.
And since that rolling movement has changed, there's been a variety of different kinds of new ways of mixing it up on the Bridget side. So like if you've let this character stay in the pressure cooker for a really long time, I guess you're probably cooking some really tasty stuff at this point. Oh, got them with the jump D, the classic Eno style mix-up. But this is a big hit though. Sean choosing the burst. Could have potentially been a kill. Choosing the low profile under that jump K from Civ. And gets the first point on the board. Well, yeah, let's see how it's gonna unfold, because we did have a conversation before arranging this match, like between are we gonna play Bridget, are we gonna play Mei? but what is the final conundrum here? I mean, the Mei is okay as well, and I'm guessing that Civ probably doesn't mind either. Are we stuck here? Technical difficulties, perhaps? Oh wait, it crashed for... It crashed for Sean. Okay. No worries. No worries. We do have some extra time this week, because we are only a five matchups card kind of an event. I mean, luckily, since a lot of the matchups today have gone down to the wire, they've basically taken like maximum amount of time. So I guess for the sake of my own sanity, I guess it's lucky that we had a 5 matchup card instead of the full 7 matchup card. And I've been, you know, slightly meta conversation in terms of bounty hunters, but I'm slowly sort of inching towards maybe hosting 6 matchup events instead of 7 matchup events for the sake of my own health, because like commentating for 3 hours plus, like if you're closing in on 4-hour mark with a long event like that, especially if there are a lot of like really even matches for a particular evening, and if you're commentating 7 of those in a row, my goodness, it's quite the hassle for sure. And it takes a lot of mental energy as well, to the point where it's really hard to describe if you've never commentated before, like long evenings of commentary, sort of commentary gigs, if you will. But this shit does tire you out quite a bit, maybe even more than playing the actual video game. I mean, of course, it depends on how you conduct yourself. I guess yours truly has sort of chosen her poison, and you know, I guess I go overboard quite a bit. And I do pay for that energy. It doesn't come for free, for sure, when you're drawing that extreme excitement from the back of your psyche. Oh my goodness, we got the counterplay. Throwing the dash through attempts. Sean definitely has played this matchup before. Rocking the Slayer into a wall break. Unfortunately, wasn't able to convert into a heart knockdown. Sees the super jump, or the whatchamacallit, the dash jump, I guess. Slayer has a very unique kind of a dash jump that you can do, canceling like your forward dash into jump momentum. Oh, but baiting the last bit of whatchamacallit, the lifeline out of the opponent. I mean, Civ did have a full burst there as well, but there is no way in that kind of life situation you ever spend the whole burst anymore. Now Civ's time to cook, potentially. Airborne hit, or either airborne block, pulls the opponent down to the ground. Would we burst? Civ is kind of looking like she is a little worried about it, which ended up dropping the combo. And here we go with the crazy mix-ups. This time with a simple safe jump. From the juggle into potentially last one. This one, oh my goodness, the overhead. We can cash out, right? Yep. Cancel into Roger Super during your airborne momentum. Sean blazing forward with the kind of Bridget play that maybe never seen before. I mean, we've had talented Bridget players on Bounty Hunters, but for the sake of the storyline, I'm gonna say I can't remember any of those games. Imagine remembering any of the fucking games that you casted in the past. Couldn't be me. Yeah, this is so ladies and gentlemen, first Bridget match that I ever cast. What a character. Ooh, starting with a 6p. That's gonna be exactly what the doctor ordered against those mappa hunches, which can be low profile under. But have your timing on point though, because if you miss a 6p, yes, if you miss any of that sort, the Mach punch coming through. Dude, that was a funny little angle there. So the too heavy on the ground breaks the wall. Good choice of buttons there. Too heavy, pushing Civ back onto the ground. Ooh, the trade here. Who's at an advantage? Not sure. But sure as hell looks like Sean is on the driver's seat at the moment. Good block on the empty low. But the party isn't over yet. Tries to reach for that throw. But it is a quick and effective shimmy. From Civ, that's a really good trade for Civ. And another one. Counter hit close slash. Doubling up. The pace of the match, oh my god. This is, I think, the essence of Scramble. And Slayer is such a good character with that as well. Sometimes, like when you are committed to a sequence or a block string or a pressure string, you just can't, like, your brain doesn't register that you actually managed to land a hit on a previous hit. So yeah, mixing it up with the jump D again. Overhead into another overhead. Keep it going. We can have another one. Gonna have a hard knockdown. Not really any easy way for a Civ out of this one. Choosing to go with the backdash into Hand of Doom, which luckily ended up not being Civ's Doom in the end. But you certainly have a limited amount of defensive tools for this vampire character here, Slayer. Because he no longer has any sort of invulnerable reversal mechanic that he could use. Not even the Super Mappa Hunch. But he has some, Slayer specifically, has some tools to RPS still out of his backdash. Which is that Hand of Doom, the nifty little niche tool. Ooh, the whiff punish there. Ooh, the whiff punish with the too heavy from basically downtown. A punch and making sure that we are not gonna get punished there. Sends the second one without the meter in investment. And Sean fighting like a shark out of the corner. No cancel there on the 2D, mighty punishable. You're usually, like, the RPS is that the Slayer player might cancel into a frame trap. And usually might. And in fact, usually will. Can RC here. Very late one. Catching with a small little drive-by. Was looking who's drive-by though, Sean. Blazing out of the corner. What was that momentum? That rolling movement is quite the drug, but now Civ finding a successful hit. Dropping the combo though. YRC, that's certainly gonna be Sean's advantage. Close slash out of the skies. One of the trusted anti-air buttons of all time for our Knightless friend here. If no other button got you, at least close slash got you. Can I get an amen? Alright, finally finding the hit here. Bouncing Civ out of the corner. It doesn't matter. I think that's a conscious decision here, or a conscious routing here for Sean, so that you can go, oh my god, there's so much momentum. That's so grimy looking. Why don't other Bridget players ever hit me with that stuff? That looks like an absolute nightmare to deal with. And even despite the backdash, the active frames of the tap on the 5D was still active. That could have also, wait a minute, that could have also actually been Civ cancelling into Hand of Doom there, which effectively ends your momentum and ends your active frames. So the word on the street is that the connection is a little bit rocky, if you will. So Civ is gonna try some magic tricks to potentially stabilize the situation on the router side of things. So a short intermission before we jump back in. The score situation carved onto the sand. Is that way drawn onto the sand? Carved onto the rocks here. Sean has a decent lead here on the early sets of this particular set. 3-1 as we are potentially attempting to remedy it all. Get a nice little stable playing field for both players is usually the base, sort of the baseline that every single player should have for their competitive sets in these funky little children's rhythm games. AKA, if the connection doesn't work, then frick, it feels bad, okay? It feels really bad, and I understand. So let's try to get the connection on board. It feels like it's been one hell of an evening so far, even though it's been a brief one. But hey, that's how it goes in the competitive fighting game land. You get a couple of really good games, good even games with some good storylines. And you can find yourself out of breath really fast. Like, we got Civ back in the lobby and ready to play some more ball. Hopefully with better connection here. Fingers crossed. Let's see what we're gonna get. Civ, a player who has a ton of different project in terms of available characters and side characters and side characters. Oh, the frame trap! Waiting for the burst potentially, which does not happen yet. There we go! The second time's the charm, as Mama always used to tell me. Ooh, but going under there with a kickstart my heart, or perhaps just a little bit too fast to start up for Slayer's option. Frame trapping into the 5 heavy was that? Oh, I love that! Utilizing the twirling movement to bait out the anti-air reaction from Civ, and then diving in for the actual prize. This would be a nice little steal. Wait, this is certainly not a real reversal, but I think... I mean, you might as well send it. Check what the opponent is doing, and if it sends, then it ain't a slow fax machine. It's a full-blown modern printer right there that prints you value. And so far, or at the moment, it looks like Civ is printing all of the value in the world, breaking the wall with the super, and now, that was a. That was like half a second that Civ spent just standing there on the other side of the character, maybe expecting, I'm not sure what to happen. What is the verdict here though? Is the connection okay, or is it too bumpy? Is the road too rocky, so to speak? Can we go on, or do we have to call it quits here? Yeah, the spirit of the show is generally you are character locked, and if we do start with one character, unless it is agreed upon with your opponent ahead of time, generally against the rules to swap to another character in Bounty Hunters. And as far as I know, the promise was, well, I mean, the initial talks were about May, but since we did start and we started out playing with the Bridget, I think it's only fair that we stick with the Bridget. One of the carrying concepts of bounty hunters is, you know, being able to lab for that one matchup that you are set with. Thus, we also give, you know, the players sort of free reign to say that, okay, I don't want to play against this character, I don't want to play against this character, and if there's like a matchup that you don't want to play, then we can change that. But it has to be premeditated, it has to be agreed upon in advance. Let's see how the rest of this set is gonna revolve. With the cover cancel here. Decent chunk of damage, and most importantly, the heart knockdown into a safe jump. Ooh, cut the backdash there with the yo-yo toss. And just a little jumpy converted into a thick throw is what ends up doing Civ in this round. Sending them up a hunch too far. That's gonna be mighty minus if you are -2 or more, which I think if you send Mappa Hunch from that distance, that time ended up not being quite punishable. But the Mappa Hunch is a very spacing reliant tool. If you send it from a sweet spot, can be plus. But if you send it from too close by, it is gonna be minus throw punishable. Oh, we're gonna go through here. This is an immediate cleave on the whole screen. Civ maybe on the hunt for the burst. Inserting micro delays there between the combo string. But Sean, smartly opting to take the burst to the last round here. Hammer them down with the It's Late. Really good at like a lot of different good tools that are able to pull the opponent back onto the ground for Slayer. Historically the 6 heavy. We got It's Late as well. Oh, and that's an immediate wall stick. Slightly unfortunate for Civ, I think. The universe would have, or the counter hit there would have basically guaranteed a kill unless the wall was gonna give up too soon. And is that gonna be the death of her? Here comes Sean, nullify the advantage, YRC, get me out of there. And the close slash, yeah. It was gonna be a tough mountain to climb for Sean. Now, in a situation, 3 points evenly distributed between these two fighters. It is starting to slowly get interesting. Sean displaying a lot of control there in the early rounds of this set. But now Civ has been somewhat able to find her inner demon, her inner beast or whatever, vampire, any sort of mythical creature that is scary. Ooh, nice reaction there, the throw on Rock the Baby. That command grab from Bridget being one of the tools that doesn't really abide by the usual, like, throw priority rules. Can be, in fact, a normal thrown, or beaten with a normal throw, if you're reacting to it. It's been a while since I've seen anybody react to that as well. Trying to swing the close slash, nobody home this time. Sean is a little too high up in the sky on the Bridget. Block on the overhead, and then sending the Abare 6P. Definitely a tool that you should have in your toolkit. And again, if there is a gap, there is a 6P potentially against this character. Smart decision there. I love that, nullifying the Master's Hammer that you managed to let slip past with a YRC. A new feature that you can now do in Guilty Gear Strive. Even if you are guard crushed, you can use that YRC now. Oh, the frame trap, perfect gap there, led by Civ. Come back here, where the party is best, on the ground. Ah, Sean breaks out of there. That was a fast-ass landing there.
Duel 3.
Absolute demons mix-up game. But that's kind of that's kind of the contract that you've signed if you play Bridget. You have pretty good flow, you have great neutral. Oh, but that's a low input move. Sliding into the 2 heavy from Slayer and getting caught, getting low crushed. Able to jump over. Here comes the horizontal footsies game that Slayer is known for, bobbing back and forth with the weave, with the boxer kind movement, finding a hit here with a big hammer fist. Far slash into... Is it lights out? Not quite. Looking for one more. YRC, the last lifeline potentially here for Sean. Finds a hit. No! No finisher. And no anti-air though. I mean, I think there was an anti-air. It's just that the Roger dive sort of modifies your incoming trajectory and your momentum. So tricky tool to fight against. I mean, Bridget has a lot of different tools that makes it so tricky to anti-air her. If the Bridget player wants to make themselves like really hard to anti-air. Right, bursting through the wall break prospect. Good spacing as well. Save landing straight into the yo-yo punish of Sean's. But now we are in the danger zone. Not minus enough to get your turn, unfortunately, or technically you can RPS for your turn, but if it's not a punish, then historically Slayer doesn't necessarily care too much about it. Has always been the case, especially in the past when this character Slayer had basically cancels out of these backdashes. Those were the times. I'm very thankful that they, you know, didn't let him have that legacy mechanic anymore. Instead, replaced by a lot of very Strive-like other new mechanics. Got them with a throw, and that should be a successful cash out for the round. Important round coming up here. No YRC available this time. Civ lets the inner ape flow free. Third time's the charm, finding a counter hit with the Master's Hammer into 1, 2, 3, punching through the wall. Sean doesn't have the burst, and if he takes a hit here, it's gonna be lights out. Like so. Civ able to make it nice and even here, 4-4. Mid-game is raging. In fact, closing towards... Ooh, far slash anti-air, my favorite. It's funny how the S buttons tend to sort of revolve around Slayer. If you get close slash as a proximity activation, that's a great anti-air for sure. Ooh, with a Kara command grab. Yummy.
Duel 2.
Like if it turns into a close slash, great anti-air. If it proximity activate, it doesn't proximity activate the far slash, still not a bad anti-air. We jump out, but we were option selecting, so Sean still has his turn yet. No hard knockdown though, and now you're RPSing out of the sky jump. K into waits for the deflect shield to come out. That's gonna be a big counter hit starter. Have the super as well. Not quite the kill, I think, even though Bridget is quite soft. That's not a clean hit Mappa Hunch super. Oh, and the bluff there. One of the nastiest thing that can happen against Slayer, and the kind of mental gymnastics, that mental hoops that you have to jump against this character. Is that a K Mappa Hunch or is that a P Mappa Hunch? If you use P version from a distance where K would reach, then the P would usually whiff, and you can whiff yourself basically in the opponent's face. And try to steal your turn if the opponent is expecting the Mappa Hunch to be blocked. Right now, mashing with the 6P. Is Sean gonna use the burst? Yes, indeed. Very valuable burst here. Burst prospect when you have 100 tension to spend still. With a simple instant air dash though. Getting in, getting out, getting in again. I think that's a kill. Yes, ma'am.
Duel 2. Let's rock.
Is it the unstoppable nightless momentum, the despair that sets in when the vampire bites your neck and punches you in the face? I guess, as the Nightless do, apparently. Or slashes you with a huge-ass samurai sword. Either or. Nothing in between. Ooh, wait, was that a 6 heavy anti-air? the stanky, like, I think that was a 6 heavy. Civ with absolutely madness innovative. I mean, it's not that innovative that you sort of pull the opponent back onto the ground with a 6 heavy, but generally you're representing that tool in your own pressure and not in neutral situations, so color me surprised. And now it's looking like it's all Civ show. Getting the burst out, however, the damage has been done, and now Civ is on the hunt for one more hit to put herself in set point potentially. Clean, crisp 6p. You see the rolling movement. If it's not cancelled immediately, you will eventually run yourself into that 6p. And the Master's Hammer nailing down some hammers! This is hammer time! Hammer time! Warning! Potentially last guess of the night. Can Sean guess right? Deflect shield, that's a good guess. That buys you time to still be alive. The 6p into. Show them the fist. Civ has been able to flip the momentum on a character that freaking absolutely loves momentum. It was looking like the start was favoring Sean quite a bit, but as we progressed deeper and deeper into the set, the vampires started working their magic. And so it goes. What started out as what was supposed to be a May versus what is the name of this character? May versus Slayer turned out quite the interesting Bridget versus Slayer instead. Good stuff. Okay. A lot of things happened this week, even with only 5 matches. If you wanna sign up for next week, let me figure out. I need my window. Where is my window? So sorry about not being able to react if you guys had any cool stuff to say in the chat. I wasn't able to look at my chat during the whole duration of this this ordeal. I'll fix this bug for next week. What was I saying? Oh yeah, next week. Speaking of next week, if you want to play next week, the Bounty Hunters Discord is the best place to get started. Join, sign up on the Google Sheets, and we'll try to set you up with somebody who you have a good connection to and somebody who is of your skill level as well. That said, thank you so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you again next Sunday. Same deal, every Sunday. Until now and forever, or until, you know, we don't have any players to play Guilty Gear anymore. But yeah, next week, same time, 5 p.m. CET. It's been an honor to cast these absolute madness nail-biter matches once again. See you next Sunday. Till then, bye-bye.